There are startups that are actively in the fundraising cycle. And at this stage, and you know the stage that they are in, what is your advice to them?
The three key things that every startup currently looks for is, and probably in that order of importance, right? First is funding, right? Fundraising. Second is client traction. And then third is mentorship. Right? So those are the three that are probably the most important, vital things that a startup needs. And fundraising is a hard thing. And first of all, do not do not get too dejected, because rejection is part of fundraising. Just remember that rejection is an integral part of fundraising. No matter how brilliant the business is, almost all brilliant businesses were first rejected for fundraising. That include all the best, the greatest companies on the planet have had fundraising rejections, because don't expect that someone is able to see your vision and being able to fund it and risk it immediately. The way they look at the businesses, the way they want to evaluate businesses is very different from the way an entrepreneur looks at the business. Their rejection is not an indication of your business not being good. Sometimes they don't want to invest in a certain sector because they feel that sectors are not good enough. Sometimes they don't want to invest in a certain kind of risk, etc. So they'll have various kinds of criteria by which they will reject. Please do not take it as a rejection of your idea. Think of it as it doesn't fit with their mandate. Think of it that. Okay. Now, the other thing I have seen that founders often, all of us, I feel, look, when Fractal started, I must have sent the Fractal pitch deck to 250 different VC funds. There were 250 VC funds back then. It's surprising, but they were. I sent it to I had a list of all the VC funds in India, and I sent it to everybody. I sent a PowerPoint deck to everybody. It was a bad idea. I won't do that again, but I did it at that time. And most of them did not respond at all. And some of them responded and rejected it. Not a single one of them invested in Fractal. Right? So rejection is going to happen. But I would take that very personally and think that, okay, something is wrong with me or my business. But I will advise you to not think of it this way. See, as a founder, we think that we have a certain vision of the world, and we know that that's going to happen, and we'll make that a reality, right? That's why you are a founder. That's why I'm a founder, because we think that we can change this world into something better. But if you feel like everybody should understand it, I used to think that I can convince anybody in the world about my idea. And then I spent a lot of time trying to convince everybody. And I think it's a big mistake trying to convince a whole host of people that your idea is good. So what I realized many years afterwards is that that's a waste of time. In fact, you have to very quickly judge with whether they're buying into the idea or not. And if they don't want to buy into the idea, just leave it. Just ignore and move forward. Because your duty is not to convince the rest of the world. Your duty is to raise money. And the objective is clear. There's no point in convincing somebody. If they're not going to give you the money, just leave it and move to the next conversation. And keep figuring out, keep searching till you find that one investor who believes in you. The good thing is that you don't need to convince 20 people about your idea. You need to convince one person. That's it. Once you realize that you need to convince only one person. If she believes in my idea or he believes in my idea, that's it. I have money and I have I have runway for the next 2 years or 3 years, and I have to convince one more person after that, and so on. My earnest or sincere recommendation to all of you is grow a thick skin, deal with rejection. Do not take that rejection as a rejection of you or your idea, and just go and look for the one company or one VC fund that believes in the idea and get money from them and keep moving on from there. That's what I would say in terms of fundraising.